What is good, you guys? Welcome back to my channel and my podcast. Thank you so much, you guys, for being here. Today's video, I'm so excited about because I'm going to share with you 3 success stories. Yes, you guys, I know you guys love success stories. I love success stories. So I pulled together these 3 success stories. And the common theme with these success stories is that you do not have to know the how. You don't. And there's no way that you could possibly ever figure out how any of these would unfold. So I cannot wait to share those with you. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe. So all 3 of these people have worked with me on some level. So this first one came from the reality reset challenge I did a few months ago. And so I know you guys are asking about that challenge. If we're going to do it again, let me know if you want to redo that challenge at some point. Let me know down in the comments below. But yeah, you guys, so this is an email that I'm going to read to you from this beautiful update. You just can imagine how it will work out. So it says that I want to thank you for the reality reset challenge. And I wanted to give you an update that happened recently. I will recap what happened during the challenge. When I started the challenge, I had an intention to improve my relationship and identity around money. And it just so happened that during that challenge, my mother received an eviction notice by the court as she was behind 2 months of her rent and needed to pay up the balance in a few months. My brother, sister, and mom live in an apartment together, and if she were to be evicted, they would have nowhere to live. They all have a disability, including my mom, and she has a set monthly government income. During the challenge, I affirmed my identity of abundance and wealth, and whenever negative thoughts would come up, I would tell myself that I'm always a taken care of, and money is always there for me, and money supports me in all ways, and that I no longer identify as someone who struggles with money. One day, I received an email which notified me of an account I had completely forgotten about. When I checked the account balance, it had 1 month of my mom's rent sitting in the account. I was able to withdraw the funds and use the money to pay off half the amount owed. I told this part of the story on our closing call for the Reality Reset Challenge. That was part one. After I paid the half the balance, I intended that the remaining balance would be paid off easily and that they would not be evicted. Part two, the deadline to pay off the remaining balance is approaching as they have till the end of the month to pay it. I personally did not have the money in my account, but I still intended that all is well with that situation. I didn't stress about it. Then last week, my mother received a letter from a law firm saying she is the cash recipient of a class action lawsuit. The amount that is owed to her is $5,000 from the buyout of a lease, which was an illegal practice of the water heater company a few years ago. This money will pay off the remaining balance of her rent owed and then some. I never saw it coming. It's so crazy how Source really works things out in the best way possible. Just so amazing. I'm so grateful that my I am found you, Autumn. I felt like such a mess when I found you, but I'm feeling more confident and grounded in my I am. I put less and less attention on the external and more on the internal. Sometimes the 3D will act up, and sometimes I get carried away with it, but I feel much better with my emotions and internal state than where I was when I found you. Amen to that. I love this so much, you guys. And the reason why I loved it was because she really chose her identity, right? You have to see, you guys, that who would you be in order to perceive a lot of what's going on in your reality? If you perceive lack somewhere, it's going to come up somewhere in your reality, right? It may not hit you directly, but you will see it around because you perceive that lack is a possibility, right? So what the one thing she really did that was amazing was she chose her identity. She had her chosen identity that she was no longer someone who struggled with money and that money was easy and effortless. And so the way that unfolded was just so amazing, you guys. So amazing how that unfolded. Couldn't figure it out, right? But she rested in the end that it was already done, and she perceived herself as someone who always had money, which caused her to see her mother, her brother, and her sister as already whole and complete. And so I just love how that worked out, right? So here's the second success story. Now, this person is going to come on my podcast, on my membership channel soon. We're going to have a sit down because there's so much to go over from her success story. It's so amazing. But we worked together 2 months, and she was holding on to this old identity, really trying to change it because the things that happened in her previous identity was she did not feel good enough. There was just things that happened in a relationship that she was just not, that caused her to believe that she was not good, good enough to have certain things or to be certain things. And she got into her head that she needed to create a business in order to receive what she was receiving, because she was receiving, a settlement from that, situation that she went through previously, and that she needed to be somebody in order to have all this freedom, right? And so she wanted the freedom, though. That's what she ultimately wanted. She wanted the freedom in her life. She wanted to do what she wanted to do. She wanted to do her art, but she wanted to start a business out of that, right? And so, of course, it no longer became fun to her because she was trying to make it happen, right? And so I told her, you don't have to know exactly what business or what's going to happen in order for you to achieve the, freedom that you would desire. All you have to do is fill into that. What does that look like? Right. And so, as she would imagine it, she would imagine herself with her partner, moved in with her partner, and, living her life, being free, and, doing all these kind of amazing things around her city. It didn't really scream business, it didn't scream like fulfillment from that point of view. Right. And so I said, just drop what you think is supposed to happen in order for you to be who you want to be, because she had all these conditions. And her family was saying things. There was, of course, and they're only saying what you believe within, that you need a job, you need this, you need that, you need to get into a career, you need that. But within her, she was like, my fulfillment is just me doing what I love and it being effortless. And if I get, a business out of it, then cool. But if I don't, I'm still doing what I love, sort of thing. Right. So she imagined that. And as she started to drop that, as she stopped thinking that she had to fix that old version of her or redeem that version of her to take back her power, how you take back your power is choosing in the now moment who you want to be, right? And once she just kept choosing who she wanted to be, imagining, letting herself imagine and settle in, as we, started to work together in the second month, she started calling in things like crazy. She ended up manifesting this $5,000 check out of nowhere and just started getting all of these things that were just coming her way. And something she really loves to do that she's so good at is she loves to host workshops. So she started hosting more workshops and songwriting workshops and things like that. And she thought that is taking off in its own right. And she's happy about that because she never thought that that would be something that she would be doing. Right. And it's caused her to let her music be her music, not trying to commodify it, but letting it be what she enjoys doing because that's who she is, not trying to sell it to anybody or do any of that. If that comes in time, fine. But she's now letting her art be her art for herself, right? So all the things that she originally thought needed to happen in order for her to be successful is not what actually unfolded, right? And so she also started doing things with the community and teaching songwriting classes for kids, for these nonprofits, and getting involved with things that matter to her, right? And so she has the money now to support her. She's letting herself be supported from that time in her life where things were not good. She's allowing herself to be supported in the freedom that she already has and giving back in ways that make her feel fulfilled, right? And so we talked the other day, and she told me that she moved in with her person, with her boyfriend. And before then, that was just not on the table. There was conflict and things like that. But now they're moved in together. So they moved in together. They're traveling together right now. She said things have been so amazing. He's been buying her flowers, writing her cards, writing her letters, and telling her, you belong here, you belong with me. And before, she just felt like she didn't belong. She had to be somebody. She needed to, produce something in the world to be, somebody. And now she's realizing I don't have to do any of that. I can be, who I want to be and express what I want to express, and I don't have to work hard for it. And so once she released that, that happened. And she also manifested a $12,000 check, just came out of nowhere, right? Because her whole thing was she wanted to just exist and have an amazing life. Don't really have to work for it. Work for it if she wants to, don't have to work for it. She just wanted to express and to do whatever comes up, just live a fulfilling life. And so it was in that realization that she realized that it was obvious that it was there all along, right? What she really wanted was coming up all along. Now, how it got there and in the way it unfolded, right? She didn't have to get in the middle and try to figure out how that was happening, but it was always present. It was always unfolding. She was always taken care of, right? She just had to stop trying to make that version of herself that in that previous reality, trying to move it over to the reality where to redeem that part of herself. She just let it be and chose now that she was always that version of herself that was fulfilled and had always had an amazing life, and her life was just effortless and freedom. And so she's receiving that. She's receiving that so effortlessly by realizing it was always there. She just stopped putting all these conditions in the way that needed to be solved in order for her to enjoy it. And she just started enjoying her life. And the unfolding has been so amazing. So I'm so excited to sit down with her and to talk more about this because there was so much that came up and so much that she's manifested that it's just been really amazing to see, to witness and see. And yeah, so the last success story is amazing. You guys really wanted this one. I posted it up on the community tab a few days ago. I will link it down below. But it was a follow up call from one of my clients who I also worked with for 2 months. And it was about her daughter, who she believed had this story of being nonverbal, autistic, and just needed all this help her whole life. So when she ultimately first came to me, she really wanted to choose a different story of her daughter, right? So she wanted her daughter is now in this school that is for, special needs. And she said she had to uproot her life to make all of this happen. And she's been choosing and choosing and wanting her daughter to be different because she had the story of her daughter is nonverbal. She may talk to her mother a little bit, but when it comes to other people, she just really doesn't talk to other people like that. And she doesn't have very many friends, doesn't get involved very much, all of these things, right? And she had this ongoing story, and she just really, really wanted so bad for her daughter to be successful, to be, something, right? But instead of trying to choose, she was actually trying to change her daughter, right? And so her daughter would make certain strides, but then she would, still be projecting onto her that she's nonverbal and all of the things. And she's just, was fighting the middle, resisting the circumstances, right? And so her daughter would regress. And so we had a conversation towards the beginning of our last month working together where it kind of changed everything. And I asked her, well, who would you need to be in order to keep perceiving your daughter this way? Because no matter what story she was choosing, she kept coming back to the old story. Who would you need to be identifying as in order to keep perceiving it? And this is something I want you guys to ask yourself, that if you keep going back to the old story or keep identifying someone in your life as a certain way, who would you need to be in order to keep perceiving that, right? And as we begin to uncover the things that, was always there, because she never really wanted to talk about herself, she just wanted to talk about her daughter. But as we really went there, she realized that she was portraying herself as a victim, because the story was that she got left with her daughter at a very young age and she didn't have any help. She was just trying her best as a young single mother, and she had to uproot her life and change her plans around for her daughter. And so she just kind of had this story going that I'm left and that I don't have any friends and I don't have anybody there for me. She didn't have friends. She just kind of worked her job and she was all about her daughter. So she didn't really have a social life for years, right? And she just realized that I am perceiving myself as a victim, that something happened to me. And so it's my job to fix and not let my daughter be a victim. Meanwhile, I'm actually seeing her as a victim. It's playing out and I'm seeing it in her. Now, this is what I want you guys to understand. I tell you this all the time, that source is very impersonal in how the pictures and the appearances seem to come up, right? It's not that you wanted anything to happen to your daughter or anything like that, but if you're constantly still telling a story that this is how it is, this is how it will always be, whatever the case may be, that you can't see your daughter as whole or choose to see them from a different light or choose to see yourself from a different light. It's just you're perceiving somewhere a story of lack there, right? And so she realized that she had to change or choose a different story about herself, right? So the whole last month, we didn't do anything about the daughter. Let it be what it is, right? We didn't really do anything about her daughter, but she chose a different story about herself. She chose the reality where things were always good. Yes, that may have happened in one reality, but in another reality, it went totally different. That, her getting left with her daughter was actually the best thing that happened to her. She was able to accomplish a lot of things because she was just not acknowledging all of the things that she had accomplished in her own right. She had not given herself credit for all of the things that she has done for herself and for her daughter, for her life, right? So she started to see herself for who she really was, saw that she was always successful, saw that she was not a victim, but someone who was just amazing, an amazing mom, amazing person, just, powerful woman, right? She started really seeing herself that way, as whole and complete. And so she started getting involved in things in the school with her daughter, started helping out more, started to, talk to more of her coworkers. She started to form friendships with other moms that had similar experiences with her as her, at the school. She started to get to know her daughter's teachers more. She started to just get involved all the way around. So she started opening herself up to seeing that everything in her reality, and including everyone, is actually an asset to her. She stopped to looking at it's herself against the world, herself against this situation, and seeing it as this is a harmonious, collaborative experience of me and my world is an extension of who I'm being. And so she started to get involved in her life, started to open her life up, right? And so, like I said, there's friendships now, there's people that she could relate to. She's laughing more, talking more. She stopped trying to make her daughter learn all this stuff. She would, on the weekends, have her daughter sit down and really work with her. But she just let her daughter be a kid. She let her daughter play. She relaxed with her. She watched TV with her. She started cooking with her daughter, doing little fun things. Like she just kind of relaxed and let all of that be. But while she was changing, her daughter was also changing and as well and unfolding as well. And as she softened around, seeing herself as a victim, she naturally stopped seeing her daughter as a victim and just started loving her daughter. And when she started loving her daughter started also talking more, getting friends, playing with kids on the playground, having two friends at school. And she said, because we after we worked together, she said that she was going to continue to do it, right? And so this update was just a follow-up that that last week her daughter asked her mom if she would take her to the skating rink and the arcade after school, her and her friends, and she really wanted to go. And she said before, when she would take her daughter skating and things like that, she just never would try anything new, right? So but she said yes. So she didn't realize her daughter was really becoming friends with, people at school. And so she went and the parents went, and she said she just watched her daughter in awe try, put the skates on, and go out there and hold her friend's hands and try to skate. And it just makes me so emotional thinking about it because I have someone in my life that was diagnosed autistic, and I've seen changes in him as well. So I know how emotional it can be to, feel like you gotta, be that person that is going to always have to be there. And it kind of hurts when you feel like, okay, I got to let them kind of, do their own thing. And so she was just feeling all the emotions of like seeing her daughter actually be involved with people, seeing her be in a space with a full of people and not get, overwhelmed. Her daughter was playing new arcade games, she was trying new food, all the things that she had been doing with her daughter at home. Her daughter felt safe and comfortable to do that out in the world as well. So she said that she stopped when she stopped looking at herself as a victim and started living in the fullness of who she was, that allowed her daughter to do that as well. And so she said she just can't even perceive that her daughter is a victim because she can't perceive that she herself is a victim as well. And so it's just so amazing the unfolding of that, because she said it really helped her see that her perception about herself was so off, that it just, she couldn't see anything different. She couldn't perceive anything different. She couldn't perceive that. She said, even in the past, now looking back, she could see how her daughter was always trying to show her in her own way that she was good, that she was whole, and she was complete. But her projecting her fears onto her daughter made her daughter shrink. And so she's excited. She said she's going to start dating soon and all of these things, but she's just so open with her world. She stopped hiding in the world that she was creating by the story she was choosing. Because one thing about it, when you feel that you're a victim and you're choosing that story for yourself, you will hide in your creation, right? You will hide in it, you will try to rearrange it, but you won't expand and see the love that's always present, right? And so it's so amazing how that's just unfolded. And you couldn't really, see it unfolding in that way, but it was always her. I told her, I was like, you think that it's your daughter, but you're looking to see yourself that way, and then you'll naturally see everyone else that way. So I'm so excited to see what happens with her next. Please leave her some amazing comments down in the comment section, and hopefully at some point she will want to come on our channel and share her story, because I think that it would definitely benefit the collective. So yeah, even me, you guys, the whole reason I wanted to do this video was because this week I found one of my old journals, and I had wrote in it that at some point in my life I wanted to do something that required me to speak a little bit more. Because I remember back when I was in fourth grade, I had a presentation where I just choked up in front of the whole school. I was supposed to be reading my paper because I got entered into this competition because my paper was so good. But I got up there and I looked at everybody and I just froze. I froze, and, I got fourth place. But I told myself that I would go back and redeem myself in that way and choose to be the version of me who was always a speaker or always sharing my writings, right? And I did not know how any of that would actually happen at that time when I wrote that. But I just look up and we're doing this. And this is something I could have never fathomed for myself. I don't think you guys realize, like, who I was before in another reality, just would have never considered doing any of this. Like, it just never, ever, ever crossed my mind. I was just so different. And so, yeah, you just don't have to know how things are going to unfold. But this is the easiest thing I've ever done in my life, the most effortless thing I've ever done. It was just me following the nudge to make a video one day. And now we're here and we continue to grow. So the whole thing is, you don't have to know the how, you just have to rest in the end. I just wanted to do something that was more meaningful at a point in time in my life. And, source unfolded it to, this is what we're doing. I just never thought, but this is what we're doing now. So, yeah, you guys, you don't have to know the how. From, the first success story and this third success story, they're very similar in, seeing, how your perception shapes everything, and how you also see other people, right? How you could be projecting and seeing people through a lens that's not true about them as well, right? So when you choose that version of yourself that is whole and complete, that's all you will see. That's all you'll see in anybody else, right? You'll just see the love, you'll see you'll have more compassion, and you'll let life move with you, because once you start moving, you'll see life move with you. So there's no separation between you and your reality in that way. There is just life being lived and moved through you. And so it's so beautiful to see. And even my second success story, seeing what was already present, she just kept the character that she believed that she had to fix and redeem in place, and that was just blocking what was already present. And so there's so much that's unfolding there. And yeah, I'm excited to hear how she just calls in all this money, because she be calling in some money. So I'm excited to have her on for our podcast as well. But if you guys want to work with me one on one, everything you need to know is down in the description box below. If you want to buy my masterclasses or my books, they are down in the description box as well, you guys. And remember, you guys, your imagination, I do not care what anybody says. I don't care. Your inner senses, your inner sensation is your first language, right? It is your first language. It is you doing an act of God, right? Standing as God. So that is always on your side, no matter what. No matter what. It's on your side, and I am too. I will see you guys on the next video. Bye.